Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal May Budget Workshop. All right, Van, where do we want to pick up from where we left off?
Okay, we were gonna go through the notes that we had from last week first.
Okay,
And I'll just run. Give me 1 second.
sure, we're good.
No, I want to go over the notes.
Okay, let me print it out.
All right. It might be sitting on my desk.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right.
I'm so glad that air conditioning.
Yeah.
Just playing two with everything. Perfect. Figured it was. All right, perfect, thanks. All right. Now, there was a few things that we had from notes from last week. Public Works, list of equipment and age, working on that. Police Department add quote for roof. Police Department check on fuel figures. Separate engineering and legal fees. Add Wi-Fi at Live Oak to budget under communications. Move the CVB membership to Hospitality and Accommodation Tax Fund.
All right,
Breakdown line item, projects, contributions, and include housing trust, and include fiber in the CIP. And I think we wanted, the other one is Jeff, so we'll make sure we have Jeff at,
right, and split the budget item for professional fees?
Yeah.
Have separate for legal?
yeah. And he separated those out, but he's gonna add those as line items.
Okay, very good.
Because I'll have to figure out how to sector that, the budget each of those, and then put in a number that will hopefully work based upon
Makes
actuals
sense.
from this current year. All right, so let's go, we're working on the list of equipment and age. We'll get you that. We did add the vehicle maintenance ledger.
Can
Is
you
it
put
not
it up
on?
on there so we can see it now? Is it?
There we go. See what happens.
There we go.
You good?
Perfect,
Okay,
thank
cool.
you.
All right. So we added the vehicle maintenance ledger to your folder, just to take a look at the kind of what's going on for Public Works. And let's see, we can pull that up real quick. If you want to take a look at it. Here we go. Live is really not going to make much sense to you, to be honest with you. It's mostly parts.
Yeah, but that number there is what we're spending.
Yeah, that's the actual through, March of '22.
March, this March.
Yeah,
What's year to date, basically, as March. the
right,
first.
right. So it's tracking, that's tracking pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. But he'll work on that. As far as, let's go to the quote. We want to add, let's go back to that. Real quick, PD roof estimate. We did have a group come in and take a look at it. It's about 26 and some change. So we'll add that into the
So
police
let's
department.
put that as the
CIP.
total part of into the total
Yeah.
project for the police department, and
Yeah.
let's just change that to upfit and
Right.
restoration.
So we will do that. Just one as a cap.
Good. That's real good.
No, I can't write into this one because it's, whatever. Cool, let me do that. Open test, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So we're just gonna make that change real quick. I'm not really interested in that. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna round up a little bit if that's all right. That's gonna make that, what, 92,000 now? So I'm just gonna reflect it back over and,
It wait a minute, back up.
we don't want that much.
920,
Yeah,
no?
606.
It's a very nice
Good
roof.
catch, Mary Beth. I wasn't looking at the time. The extra zero always helps.
Yeah,
Wow, we just saved y'all a lot of money. 288, 950.
We'd have been cutting somebody's budget.
I ain't gonna
Yes.
lie.
Hold on, there's a mistake in that still. Where did-
You're on streets.
No. we went, added it somewhere incorrect. Here. Oh, yeah, there it is. 288,950. This is going to give you the, all right, so now you're down to a surplus of about 15 grand. And so let's mark that off.
Okay.
All right, I gave y'all an email from Chris on where we stood on
Fuel.
fuel and let's go back to the folder. And so basically, we maxed it out with the new fuel costs. So we need to go back in and make, just real quickly. And this will give you an update on pricing as well. So we went to, just to follow up, went to 345 for unleaded and 385 for diesel.
That's low, isn't it?
And we have unleaded again.
That's low.
For a while, we didn't have, the pumps for unleaded weren't working. So,
But the current bill is gonna put us over
yes. Yep.
for the year, so,
This bill will put you over the budget for current fiscal year.
we
fuel-wise,
still
for
got
3
2.5,
months,
and we still got 2.5 months to
Yep.
go. And I think what you had in fuel costs right now across the board was equal.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Let's go back to, yeah, so that, we need to update there. So if we max it out, we're a little over 46,000 in the budget. That's the current year budget, and I've added about 10%,
Okay.
a little bit more, and I
And
put
did
it at
you-
55, and I think I'd done that even prior to that email.
All
So we
right.
may need to adjust that up a little bit more.
And what about Public Works?
Let's see, public works, streets, vehicle gas. We're at 10.6, and we have about 17.5. So
And
we
you
can
had
probably bump that one
17.5
a little
last
bit.
year, so I put another 10% on theirs as well.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
all right, well, I'll just put a note in that. Oops, not what I wanted.
Oh, I think you're on the
The
wrong
wrong
line.
line.
Yeah.
You need to get down.
There we go.
There you go.
Excuse me. Add it so I remember. 10%. And I think we'll increase that 10%. Let's go back to PD. I'd increased that one already, but I may add another 5 to 10% on that one as well.
Okay.
Let's go back to that box.
Yeah,
All right, cool. And that'll reflect, now that's probably, once we make those additions, then
We're probably pretty close to
we're pretty
balance.
damn close.
Yes,
All right, I did add Wi-Fi at Live Oak Park, but I put that in the streets budget,
Excuse me.
Public Works under the PRT projects. So, I think I'm working on those. Yeah. So that will be added there. And for whatever reason, I don't think this is the most recent budget that's in this folder. So we'll figure that out. CVB membership, we are gonna move that to hospitality. I took that out of legislative projects and contributions. Let's go back here. So yeah, so I trimmed that number back. It had been higher than that.
Okay.
I took it out. Yeah, see, this isn't the latest. There was a table that was under here that break out per the,
Yeah, I got the s'mores.
yeah, let me see if I can
You
find
need
it.
water?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me give you 1 second. Yeah, the third update is not in the folder, even though it was supposed to be. Give me 1 second.
Oh, so just because it says 22 minutes, you're actually creating new ones?
I've got a third update,
Okay,
so you'll have, all the spreadsheets
Okay.
should be in there.
all right, I thought you were just, that's what I was looking at. The
No. No, that's what I looked, I dropped. No, I had added the third, and it's somewhere out in the stratosphere at the moment. No. But, real quickly, we don't have the document here, but you can throw that, that's the actual latest. Or, there's actually 2 copies of that. Now, we just asked for that to be broken out a little bit, and I just extracted HPRF, the Economic Development Board, the Housing Trust. I left a question mark there because we have $56,000 sitting in the Housing Trust Fund. So we have money available that we would probably extract or draw that completely down. I don't think we've made a final determination of what that contribution is going to be yet.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think we have as well. I think
Right.
that's part of, after
Yeah.
tonight, we get get our representative in.
Yeah.
That'll happen during those meetings in
Yeah.
that aspect. The only one we looked at a little bit tighter was the MEC
Yeah.
in that aspect, and it looks like the MEC will be, in the neighborhood of about 5,000.
Right. So I'll add the MEC. The other one is street music. That runs about, for both seasons, about $20,000. And the balance, we typically have an estimate in there because there are things that come out throughout the year. Like this past year was the contribution to local option sales tax. Our participation, that was about $8,300. There are different things that y'all fund throughout the year so we have to build in a little bit of discretion in that as well.
Okay.
So we'll add the MEC to that. Let's see what else we had on the list. We did that. Let's go back and look at this ledger real quick, so you guys can have an understanding.
Yeah. Switch inputs again, Brooke?
Yeah, there we go. This is the separate engineering invoices we've had throughout the year. This will be the basis that we use to sector those out.
Okay.
See, it's been pretty significant. They're in legal there.
Okay.
All right, and we'll break those out and do a budget estimate based upon that for the final. Let's see, so we've kind of gone through this, but let's go back to, and like I said, I wish I had, hold on, I may have printed that last. Nope, we won't have the current updates.
The one I'm looking at in the folder has those same notes on it that you just put in the,
Okay,
On
well,
the
I know,
other-
but there's even,
there's even one after that.
that's even one after that.
Okay.
So there's a third update that breaks out things even more thorough, or breaks them down a little bit quicker. But bottom line, we're pretty close to balanced. See, that's dated. I'm using paper from now on. No, that's all I'm using. I'm kind of done with this. So, paper, I can put it up there, it's up to date, it doesn't go in the netherworld, wherever that is.
Sometimes when showing it, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, so. It's reliable. All right. So, any other questions regarding the budget?
All right, so where we are right now, which was 15,000, probably take that down with the fuel a little bit closer.
Yeah.
That still doesn't include anything from Public Works on equipment or building maintenance. Is that the way I
No,
understand it?
I think, no, I have to go back again. I put in a placeholder under streets for finances of a lift.
Okay,
I think if you go back, let's go back and check it, there should have been, streets. Yeah. 50,000 placeholder for purchase of lift and trailer. The
Right.
one unknown on that is the estimate for the roof repair.
okay.
Just working on that.
And if there's any equipment.
Right. Now, we still have a truck on order that has not yet arrived.
Right.
So we've got that. We're waiting for that to show up. And that's reflected in,
Let's get in the truck.
it should be in there already, but we'll double check that with Chris. But yeah, we're still waiting on that.
It's one of the truck that's on order is one of the big trucks for picking up,
So,
bulk debris.
Two? We already have two. We have two? All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we already got the pickup trucks into the
Probably, yeah,
fleet.
that's all squared away. And we took care of that the current fiscal year.
Gotcha.
So,
I want to go back to this.
so even with,
Driving me crazy.
when Jeff's numbers come in, this is no fund balance transfer at
None.
all.
No.
This is no fund balance transfer. Yeah.
Yeah, and after the discussion we have with Lawrence, we will roll up the debt service payment. We're able to roll up the debt service payment in the current millage rate of 74.
Correct.
So we'll be able to borrow the $3 million, which equates to about 6 mills, without increasing the tax rate.
Without increasing the millage rate in any way.
Right.
And not jeopardizing our millage rate by doing
Yeah.
a CIP at a regular millage rate. Good. Good, so it was the right time to do it.
Thought I'd shared, so, no, that's not it. Oops. Didn't mean to show that. All right. What other questions do we have?
I don't know, council? What are we
I think
missing?
I'm good.
There was some discussion during the year about GIS. We talked a little bit about that. Have we taken that any further?
No. Right now, Noah's pretty well versed in manipulating the current county system,
Okay,
because obviously he learned it there. So he's able to produce just about everything we need using that existing system.
okay. So there's no,
Yep.
he doesn't need a license, any better, more of a license or anything to do
No,
that?
not to
Okay.
manipulate. Now, no.
Okay, because I know that was a conversation we had,
Yeah.
to be able to start producing
Right.
a little bit of our own stuff.
Yeah.
What about, do we have a large enough plotter to print the stuff that he's producing, or is he just getting that done and then going to pick out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're okay with that. All right, good. That was another conversation that we had during the year.
Right.
And Jerry, you had mentioned a couple of times, and I think it came up last week again, about Sands Beach Road, and I was out there this week. I didn't get to go look today to see what they did, but I did right before I left town.
Yeah.
And the amount of sand that gets on the road from everybody using the beach, is there anything we can do? Do we need to put any money into, we used to own a brush. I
Yeah.
remember that. You guys used to sweep certain sections. It was on the front of a skid steer, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you still have that or don't have that. or-
With the sand, they get eaten.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to put something in there to clean that during these seasons? Because I mean, right now, if you go down there, it's 1.5 inch. It was on
Yeah.
Monday. It's 1.5 inch worth of sand in the road. And I'd love to just.
We can step up the sweeping for sure.
Or just make sure that we push it back into
Well,
the
that-
edge of the
yeah.
driveway.
Well, yeah, because if not, it's just piled up along the side.
Right, clear that edge and push it back
Yeah.
to that entrance driveway. So just,
Yeah.
please ask Public Works Jeff to take a look at that. If there needs to be any money put in the budget to do that during the spring, summer, and fall season,
Right.
we're gonna have somebody to take care of that for us.
That'd be good. Be
I
real
think it's
good.
something we need to be able to do, because there's gonna be, with what's happening now with Safe Harbor here, there's gonna be more people walking and biking on that road than there has been, because people are used to cutting through.
Yeah.
And that's gone away. So I think we need to look at that carefully
Yeah, we can
in
do
that
that.
aspect,
Absolutely.
and see if we can.
We
do
need to
something.
maintain those, because the plants kind of grow into it, and
Right.
you can't see the line or whatever.
No, I agree. I know that was a conversation we had. And did we put any other funds in any of the budgets to expand on the flashing speed limit signs? Or are we good, are they on order out of this budget?
Yeah, we've already,
Or taken
purchased
care
that
of?
and taken
Because
care of it.
we've just gotten nothing but raves about the one that we put up. And I know that it's there and then not there.
the only
It's
challenges
charging.
we have are getting permission from the DOT to install it.
To permanently install it.
Yes. They wanted us to do a study on speeds and other things before we could do the install. And so we already have one up, it's just on a different pole. So,
Interesting.
Andre is working through all that, and he says he thinks he's made some headway.
Okay.
But we've already bought it, and it's ready to roll as soon as we get permission to install it.
Interesting.
Yes.
Always fun, always fun.
Yep.
Did we ever get cameras over at the Sands, additional cameras?
We have the one camera
The
now.
one that's been there on the pole?
Yeah.
And we had talked about getting Wi-Fi at the Sands at one point also, didn't we?
We do. We can access that camera remotely.
So there is Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess the real question is, do we focus the one camera on the parking lot and add another one strictly for the signs?
And I
We
think
can
we
get
had
one more-
we
one
added
on the
one.
boardwalk.
The one, right, so
The
do
other
something
end
with
for
the
the
parking
tower.
lot, the
Yeah,
boardwalk.
tower
and
That
the-
may be
At
That's
the
right.
opposite end where it comes from the walkway, so it shows the tower and so forth. You can see the activity on that tower.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, they're actually kind of inexpensive.
Probably not even capital, but just,
No, I
Yeah.
mean, you could literally do what we need to do for less than
It's
$5,000.
just something to focus on that tower.
so let's just put a note in the budget to do that,
Yeah.
and you don't have to increase that, but let's make sure we have that on
Burning
one of the
wood and so
goals.
forth.
Because we have
Good
added
idea.
cameras in the skateboard park using
Right,
the Portage Chapel
Wi-Fi there.
fire department. Yeah.
All right, well, so give us the schedule then. I think we're at the point of what do we need to do, and where are we with the schedule?
We could probably do another short, we'll have a public hearing, obviously. But I think at the next council workshop, we'll do one more small budget workshop to reflect these changes.
Okay.
And that will give you the total final number for the budget.
Okay, can we set it as a goal to have that document completed and out to us? Council, what do you need, a
Balanced
week?
budget.
Do you need the Friday before the workshop?
That's fine.
Can we do it on the Friday before the workshop,
Yeah.
completed? Tell us this is the final budget, so
Yeah.
that way we can all have that and then have that final discussion on the
Before the
Wednesday.
June workshop, before the,
Yep.
okay, the Friday
Yep.
before the,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, does that work for everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we can do that. You may get it before then.
That's great, that's great. And I know things happen, so let's just have an aspect of that. So we'll have a final budget workshop. We're gonna have a public hearing on the workshop night or on the,
Workshop night.
you know, so
Workshop
we'll
night.
have a public hearing and a budget workshop on workshop night. And then the following week will be the second reading,
And yeah, it's done.
because this one is kind of title only.
Yeah.
Yeah, so May 1st is the next, as you were June 1st.
June 1st.
Okay,
Okay.
it's 3 weeks.
Yeah, we love those early month council meetings.
Right.
I'm like 2.5 weeks after we just left, so.
I think that the council meeting after that, I might have to be remote if I could, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
I maybe could be remote too.
We'll figure that one out. Well, do we have anything else on the budget workshop, or do we want to close this and then start back up? We have
Tab at 6.
an executive session at 6. So,
Right.
council all good with the budget workshop? Staff told us everything you need right now? Then let's go ahead and end. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Let's end the budget workshop, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock for a special meeting.
session to discuss potential litigation to end these things.
And-
Second.
And a personnel item as well.
And a personnel.
Thank you. So we have a second? We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. We're in executive. Are you ready? Okay. Welcome back. What's the pleasure of council?
Make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There is no action being taken from the executive session that occurred. I'd like to welcome everybody to our May Port Royal Town Council meeting. I will call this meeting to order, and our first action will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Owens, can you lead us, please?
Father, we thank you for this opportunity as we assemble before you in your presence. We thank you for the business that will be addressed and taken upon tonight. We thank you that the decisions that are made will be in the best interest of those in whom we serve. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you. So welcome, everybody. Next item is approval of minutes. We have our standard 3 sets of minutes in your packet. First set of minutes is council workshop of April 6th. Second set is a special meeting of April 13th. And the last set is regular council minutes from April 13th also. What is the pleasure of council?
I move that we approve the minutes from council workshop of April 6th, special meeting of April 13th, and regular council meeting of April 13th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
None noted.
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Then, council briefing, any updates from last week or anything you would like to highlight?
Sure, I just want to mention that the work at Sands Beach did get kicked off. Walked down there today, all the patching is done, and we're hoping to see the asphalt overlaying and everything taken care of today, tomorrow, squared away, hopefully by this weekend.
Did they get those edges pushed back? Did they push to get to the original asphalt extensions?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. You could see it was pushed back for sure.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good, I know, it's one of the things we were concerned about is getting those edges pushed back.
Yeah. And I have gotten back from Lawrence his draft of changes to the IGAs. So I'm kind of going through that right now with circulated, so
Okay.
pretty
And just-
comprehensive.
Just to update everybody, the IGA meeting with the county has not been set between the municipalities and the county. They're trying to get that set. The chairman was going to be out of the office for a little while, and they're waiting on his schedule to get that all worked out.
What's the deadline on what?
The deadline is a month, but I think that has, the county's talking about that deadline because of the conflicts that occurred in getting the meeting set up.
And then one other thing, we're trying to work towards the Porter's Chapel ribbon cutting. I think we had looked at June 10th, 2 p.m. It should be under, you want me to add this, or?
Oh, no, just a discussion.
Yeah. So we're trying to get that squared away, but I know we got a lot of moving calendars here, moving dates, so.
Brooke, I'm fine with that time.
I'm good
That's one of them.
at this moment in time. I'm good with that time.
You should not a doodle. Did she send out a doodle?
I don't think we had a doodle for that
We
one.
do a doodle?
We did.
She did, yes, she did, because I responded back because
She did. She taught me how to doodle.
I'm out of town that week, so.
Oh, that, okay. So
But if I go forward, we gotta go.
You sure?
Yes.
We've been trying for so long. I know this
Yes.
is just,
We also have
I'm in
Shannon
Atlanta.
Harrison that's going to be available.
Shannon's going to be available?
I'll be working
Let's go
with the
with it,
chamber
yeah.
to get the rest of our invitees.
Yeah, I am returning, yes, that's good. That's good. Let's go.
Let's go with it. Yeah, that's what
Let's
I
do
said.
it. Lock it in. So, yeah, so that's June 10th, a Friday, and it's Porter Chapel's ribbon cutting, basically.
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
Let's get that meeting notice out tomorrow. Council, any questions after hearing Van's update from last week? Anything specific you want to know about?
Just for, I see Miss Patty and them here from the Wednesday Morning Coffee, on the shrimp boats, would you like for him to go over what's going on with that?
Yes, indeed, thank you.
So Van, can we just go over what we talked about last week?
Last week?
Just because
Obviously, we had a voluntary deadline in place for them to relocate. Obviously, most of them did not take us up on that offer. The lawyer is putting together the arrest documents for the boats that have chosen not to relocate, and we're in the process of filing those documents.
Should be today.
Should be today. We have somebody lined up for 2 of the boats to be taken off and rehabbed. And we are aware that 2 of the boats are also scheduled for the rail in, for restoration. They're first and second teed up to go to be worked on, so.
So that's 4 of 7, right?
Yeah.
Is that the number, 7?
But, yeah, but we're gonna have to rest. We're moving forward. As long as they're there, we're plugging away at that.
Let's make sure that the term arrest, people understand, we're not talking about arresting owners or
No.
captains or anything like that.
Right.
This is the official term that they use for seizing a boat. It's
Yeah.
literally, we have to arrest the boat.
So the U.S.
Just wanna make sure
Marshal
everybody
does
understands
Is that right?
Then once that's done, we own the boat and we're able to do what we need to clear the boat. Is that?
We're custodian.
We're
of the-
custodians of the boat.
Yes.
But isn't the U.S. Marshals coming to do that?
Yes.
Yes, so the U.S. Marshals arrest the boat, we end up with custodianship, and then we can then clear them so we can start the dock project.
Yep.
Did I express that? When you hear the word arrest, I want to make sure people understand
Yeah.
what we mean by that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. If nothing else, we'll move on to first readings.
All right, first reading ordinance 2022-4, an ordinance to amend as follows. Section 1 of ordinance 2021-23, to provide for the levy of taxes for ordinary town purposes in the town of Port Royal, South Carolina for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022, and to provide for the expenditures thereof. We've held a few budget workshops looking at each of the departmental budgets. Anticipated budget for the upcoming fiscal year is just slightly above $8 million. We're still refining some of those final numbers. It does include it's anticipated that the millage will not increase whatsoever, despite the fact that we are borrowing $3 million, which equates to about 6 mils of value for a general obligation bond to improve roads, sidewalks, stormwater. We had hoped to net it out. We had talked about maybe setting aside a debt mill, but because of the growth we've seen across several funds, property taxes, business license fees, we're going to be able to absorb that borrowing within the current millage rate, so no tax increase. And that's without taking anything from the fund balance at all, period.
I know you're saying it was, the reason we're doing that is because of growth, that is one part. The other thing is great management of our budget by town staff that allowed us to be to this point as well. So I want to thank the staff for what they've done to allow us to be there. What's the pleasure of council on ordinance 2022-4?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2022-4.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next one.
Ordinance 2022-5, an ordinance to approve the court department budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022.
Before we vote, I'm going to go ahead and recuse myself from this because I do some work for the Beaufort County court system, so I'm affected by it. Do I need to leave?
No, you can stay in the room, just don't
Okay.
vote.
All right,
Keep
and
your hand down or I have to smack
Yeah,
you.
just like lay
yeah,
it
the
down.
anticipated budget for that department's $164,545, and it does include our special contract we have addressing public defender services as well as bond court, which is kind of one of the more significant line items in the budget. So,
Very good. Pleasure of council.
Move that we approve ordinance 2022-5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Before I call for vote on that one, just to remind everybody, there will be a public hearing on both of these at our Wednesday workshop. The budgets will be online no later than the Wednesday before that, at the same time we get them, we'll have them online.
Yep.
So that if citizens want to review the budget, take a look at that, they'll be online on, sorry, I don't have that date in front of me right now of what that'll be. It'll be the 30-something.
25th,
What?
May 25th.
May 25th. So the budgets will be available, fully available online on May 25th if you want to review that, and we'll have a public hearing on those. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous with one
Abstain.
abstain. Next ordinance, 2022-6.
an ordinance amending Chapter 15 offenses and miscellaneous provisions, Section 26, fraudulent checks, et cetera, of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina, to update terms and jurisdiction. The Solicitor's Office, who previously prosecuted bad checks, no longer is doing that. So if we indeed need to do that, we need to amend our current Code of Ordinances to allow us to prosecute those bad checks.
Any questions? You're not? What's the pleasure of council?
I make a motion, we adopt ordinance 2022-6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Sorry, my thing's not working. The next ordinance is 2022-7.
Yeah, an ordinance creating section 12-91, food truck guidelines, in chapter 12, licenses and business regulations, article 8, food trucks of the Port Royal Code of Ordinances in the town of Port Royal. Y'all had a presentation last week where Noah went over some of the potential locations. I'm going to turn this over to Noah and let him brief y'all on that and everything else associated with this potential work.
Yeah, I just wanted, now that you all have the ordinance language, just to go over some of the things that we highlighted last week, maybe a few things more, and then any questions that you might have, I'd be happy to try and answer, I'm sure with Brooke's help. So we are proposing, in addition to the 3 areas that currently allowed food trucks in the town, to also allow with staff approval, depending on schedules, food trucks in Live Oaks Park, Naval Heritage Park, and John S. Parker Park, or Casablanca Park. In addition to those parks, we are also proposing 2 on-street areas, one in front of Anchor Park and one in front of the Search and Rescue Building, both on Paris Avenue. Those are the only on-street places available. Throughout the rest of town, the zoning districts that would allow food trucks with owner permission would be T4, I'm so sorry, T4 NC Open, T4 Urban Center, and T5 Main Street. And then anywhere else in the town, if it was a non-recurring kind of special occasion event, we would allow that as well. Food
But
trucks.
that's not part of this. That's already an existing.
So we have special event allowances for other kinds of
But the
rentals.
T4 neighbor, what you just highlighted as permission from the owners, that's already in.
No, none of that's
That's
existing
being added
currently.
as well here?
Yeah, so this is added, right, that's
Okay.
added at this time,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I did not realize that.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. So some of the things that the food truck vendors would need to do are obtain and maintain all of the DHEC licensing that's required. They would need to have fire marshal approval. And we will, I think, one of the things that we're discussing adding to this language before second reading would be, one, requiring that the vendors would need to give us their updated DHEC approval each time that they're re-inspected by DHEC to renew their business license. And I believe we're still working with John Badgett on some of the, if there are any other fire marshal additions to be made, but right now I think he's happy with what the inclusion is.
Well, didn't we say that we were gonna require them to have a fire extinguisher on every truck
Yes,
also?
yeah, so he will, right now, all we have written in is that he'll determine what the fire extinguisher requirement is and
Okay.
inspect that to make sure it's there. So we're just we just put out a feeler with him to just make sure that there's nothing missing from here that
Okay.
that he would need to be included. The food trucks would need to provide their own trash receptacles. All of the sales would need to be coming directly from the truck. They would need to be removed from the location they're serving from at the end of the hours that they're allowed to serve. And if there are any other questions on all those regulations that are listed there, I'd be happy to answer.
I got one.
Sure.
Go ahead, Jerry.
So the trucks on Paris Avenue, one in front of Search and Rescue and one in front of Anchor Park, those are diagonal head-in parking spots.
Right.
They would be required to park like that, not parallel. Correct?
Yes, I think
Wouldn't
that's
they
the way that we
protrude out
have
in the
it.
road?
What's that?
Wouldn't they protrude in the flow
That's
of
a
traffic?
possibility. So I guess we'll have to look at the spacing for that, because with the diagonal
Can
parking
you look at
spaces.
that
Yeah,
and let us know?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
And those two
Good point.
spots,
because they're probably gonna have to take up 2 spots to do this.
Right.
Especially from the school down.
I would think, I mean, that out by Anchor Park, that's, I don't know. You just need to look at that and let us know what you think is best.
Sure, yeah, I mean, we can look at the number of parking
You can both
spaces
places
there.
If you think about it.
I think there's more room at Anchor Park than there is.
Yeah. And so we kind of chose those places because just, you know, observing in town where people park the most in the street spaces, you know, rarely are there several parking spaces taken up at Anchor Park other than, you know,
That's the whole time.
odd days, yeah, so.
Because if not, the only other way would be kind of like a parallel parking in there and probably
And
taking
you-
up a couple of spots.
Right, probably, possibly like 3 spaces, so, yeah, we can definitely look at that.
Just looking at that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We definitely don't want to give up more than 2 spaces
Right,
if we do this.
okay.
And the requirement is in here, 100 feet from any existing food restaurant.
Yeah, 100
Brick
feet
and
from
mortar.
any brick and mortar restaurant, that's from the door to the truck.
Right.
So,
But with the spaces that we're doing, right now, that's not a problem, but if a restaurant was to move in, we will have to alter this?
yes, or potentially
Okay,
remove the on-street zone, I guess it would
right,
depend
right.
on.
So,
yeah.
but this would have to be revisited by
How does that
council
affect,
to remove that if a
And we
restaurant.
can look at if we need to build something in there for when new restaurants are established. to-
Yeah, it just
Right
is,
now.
rather than having to go through 2 here,
Yeah.
rather than having to go through 2 council meetings to update this for restaurants, see if there's a way to build that in for that aspect.
Sure.
Are these
Yeah.
trucks allowed out there when we're having festivals? We have the Soft Shell Crab Festival.
No, so they'll need to be 200 feet from a permitted town event, so they would not be able to
Because
be
parking
on any.
clear all the way back up the road.
Right. I think we could probably just build in a restriction on festival days.
festival days.
And then, as well, you wouldn't, just because of the 200-foot distance from the town
Unless they're
event,
permitted.
there are no private properties along Paris Avenue that would be permitted from, you know,
From
for
doing
that
it.
whole stretch of the festival, so.
Right.
Just something to think about, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Anything else? All right,
I'm good, thank you.
everybody's good?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
All right, what's
Thank you.
pleasure of council?
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2022-7.
This is first reading, right?
First reading, first reading.
Okay, I second that.
Any further discussion?
I didn't see anything pertaining to obstruction of sidewalk.
That's a good point.
Question, no obstruction of sidewalk.
You don't block the sidewalk. That's a good point.
And that's in the law, our law anyways. I mean, it's,
Yeah, so we have, if you look at section 4, item H, there's a restriction on obstructing sidewalks, streets,
Yep.
avenues, all of that, so,
4H. Oh.
and that is,
I don't see H.
scroll up,
I don't see H.
man, it's section 3, not 4, I'm sorry. Right there, yeah.
There you go.
So that's one of the,
Okay.
that's one of the things that I need to revisit the zoning regulations, because we do have a restriction in the zoning code separate from the code of ordinances on sidewalk sales, the limits on how frequently you can sell from the sidewalk. So, I mentioned that last week, but we'll have to coordinate that as well and make sure everything is cohesive
Good.
between the 2 codes.
Roger that.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Last one, E, ordinance 20-22-8.
Yeah, an ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 6, Boards, Committees, Commissions, et cetera, Division 4, Parks and Recreation Commission, Section 2-294, Powers and Duties in the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina. I've circulated a document to y'all reviewing some of the scope and powers of the Parks and Recreation. I did send it to the chairman for them to take a look at. Based upon that, what you have in front of you is is a draft of, or first reading of an ordinance that kind of amends those things, eliminating some of the bureaucratic responsibilities were included in that, having to do with budget creation. We focus more on concepts, master planning, not so much into, getting down to the nuts and bolts of that, or actually, having them perform some staff duties relative to attending 2 parks.
And we have our Parks Chair. Anything you want to add? before we,
Not too much. I mean, we gave our recommendation, sorry, good evening, Mayor, council members. I sent Van and Brooke a copy of what we had recommended, and because I didn't have everybody's email, so I was hoping it got forwarded to y'all, but we had a chance to look at what Van had put out, and we have no issues with it, and we serve at the pleasure of the council, so whatever you decide you want us to do, we're more than happy to do it. We just want clear guidance.
very good.
And then just ask that you re-look at the parks that fall under our purview.
Okay, so the other one is, you're looking for a list of parks
Yes, sir.
that this will be attached to. So-
Specifically, the two historical monuments, the anchor, the traveling buoy, and the Cypress wetlands.
Right.
And then I was just informed, Fort Frederick is a county park.
Yes.
Yes,
So we've been looking after that one too.
okay.
So it may be in our best interest to keep looking after that one, but once again, I'll leave that up to you.
What's interesting about Fort Frederick, it is a county park, but we did a division of major versus minor, and we do cut the grass there,
Right,
part of our
right,
contract.
Yeah, I think
We
we
got
talked
some
about that in the beginning,
responsibility.
right?
Right.
We gotta keep our eyes on it.
Quasi.
It's-
Right.
that's a
Quasi, no,
quasi.
yeah. It was, remember, it was a three-way agreement to get that park
Right.
built.
Yes, sir.
In that aspect, and we agreed to keep the maintenance
Looks
costs
nice.
Maintenance
as
part.
part of that, yeah. So can we have an attached list to this so that we have that for the
Yeah.
next, so that we can verify that? I think we all understand which ones it is, but let's make sure we have that attached list. As of this date, these are the parks kind of thing, just as an attachment, so that we can move forward with that.
And that'll be a living document based on how many
Right.
parks we, especially with the one that we're getting ready to look at.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
It'll make it easier for us to add or subtract those those
Yes, sir.
parks. Okay, just wanted to make sure this met your needs and was given you, so that's the other piece we need to get you.
Yes, sir.
Council, have any questions for our chair? John, thank you for all you
Thank you.
do, appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Do y'all want to table this until we get the complete ordinance with the list?
We can do that.
Okay.
I think you would do, but prefer to postpone than table?
Yeah,
Get a
sure.
motion to postpone until we have a parks list?
So I
It's just
changed
first
my
reading,
motion.
This is first reading, but there's no timeline on this, so let's just have all the documents together, I think. So what's the pleasure of council then?
I move that we postpone ordinance 2022-8 until we get a complete listing of sites, locations.
Okay. We have a motion, do we have a second?
So,
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Second readings. Ordinance 2022-3.
In order to provide for the issuance and sale not exceeding a $3 million general obligation bond, Series 2022, of the town of Port Royal, South Carolina, to prescribe the purposes for which the proceeds shall be expended, to provide for the payment thereof and other matters relating thereto. We had a Geo Bond 101 class at the workshop last week with Lawrence, where he gave us a pretty comprehensive overview of how the general obligation bond works. And basically, what we're doing is we are utilizing the Geo Bond capacity is based upon 8% of your assessed value. And right now, the town has $4.6 million worth of borrowing capacity that you don't need to do through referendum available to you. The town is choosing to undertake $3 million worth of capital improvements through this borrowing, road resurfacing, sidewalk construction, some drainage work. It is intention to spread this debt over 10 years with, I think, debt service being in the neighborhood of $345,000 a year. So approximately about 6 mils worth of property tax. And as I mentioned earlier, this will be absorbed into our millage rate that is currently 74, which we are able to do. So this is what you will be voting on this evening.
I'm fine with it.
Questions? No questions. What's the pleasure of council?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? The only thing that I'll add is none of these projects will happen without, because of the size, will come back before council.
Correct.
The projects will be addressed on how the funding's happening, whether it's coming from this GEO bond or other aspects in that, or other aspects. So we'll have a final ledger as we work through this of what this $3 million was spent on.
Correct.
Okay? That's my comment. Hearing nothing else, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go to work.
Get to work. There you go. Okay, we have 2 council actions. We have some appointments tonight. The first appointment is the Buford Jasper EOC Director's position. What is the pleasure of council?
I make a motion that Joe DeVito be appointed to that.
I'd like to recuse myself from this vote because I'm an employee.
You are now an employee, yes. Very good. So Darrell has recused himself. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, and I'll recuse myself from the vote. So, I am now the appointee for the EOC board.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You just hold on, Bubba. Got something for you.
All right, second is the Buford Jasper Housing Trust. This trust is what came out of the Soloco Group and then a study that was made. The technical committee is getting back together. It's being expanded to north of the Broad to formulate and bring the actual document, the framework of how this is going to happen now and how this trust is going to work. North of the Broad, so far, representatives have been approved. Alice, I'm looking at you. Wendy Czar is approved as a county representative, and Mayor Murray is approved as the City of Buford representative this week. Happened this week. I checked to make sure. And now we need to get the Town of Port Royal representative on because they're ready to go. So after that summary, what's the pleasure of council?
I'll make a motion that we nominate Kevin Phillips for the Buford Jasper Housing Trust.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. So Kevin, you are now part of that group. Harry Williams has got the lead right now.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
We'll get something going. And every time an email is sent, if you see my name in it, I didn't get it, because whenever Harry sends an email, they bounce back. Can't figure it out, don't know why, so Van always forwards to me anything that Harry sends. Just,
He added you to his spam box.
we've done everything to try to solve that, can't seem to do that.
That's crazy.
It is.
Junk mail.
Next item of business is we've got a request from the redevelopment commission to begin work on a potential town center. If we could bring that map back up again, and the request is really about adding the property that is on the water side of Morale Road behind the Nally Shopping Center, or else we all have addressed for years as the Piggly Wiggly and now Piggly Wiggly Ace Hardware Shopping Center. So because of the original scope of work, we said one property, the properties that touched Reboat Road from Bridge to Burger King, and Burger King's right next to this, and they want to also include this development in a look at that property as a town center. We have some representatives. We don't have the chairman here, but we have representatives from the redevelopment commission. If anybody would like to come forward and say anything, please do.
Hey.
Two members.
Yep. Sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm here as chairman of the redevelopment commission, and
Rand, do me a favor. Name for the people watching online.
Rand Ward.
Thank you, Rand.
We were here when the redevelopment commission was reset, we were charged with looking at Rebo for retail and how to bring business into Port Royal. We have looked at it pretty hard, and we all feel, and I think I speak unanimously for the group, that the time is now or never that we approach, my hearing aid's falling out, that we approach the larger landowners on Rebo and to establish a financial, business-oriented town center. If we don't do that, we're going to have apartments and hotels. We're going to be a bedroom community forever. Now is the time, because plans are already starting to be made. But if we can sway those to put in a town center with business circling of the property, with a green space in the middle, where people can picnic, eat ice cream, eat their lunch, whatever, have a great time, not have to worry about traffic. We could attract people to come here. This could be a point of origin, a point of destination for business people, much like you have at Hilton Head places and also in Bluffton now. But it could be here. But we have to strike while we can. Once the land is gone, this is all off the board. There's a couple of properties the one right across from Edinburgh, where the apartment complexes are, would be an ideal location for this in conjunction with the one on the corner of Edinburgh and Rebo. Yes, we want to be able to have the option to look at the Piggly Wiggly shopping center area, for whatever better term to call that, as an option. But we feel like it would be really nice if the people of Port Royal, for example, could walk, bike, golf cart, and buy wine, fresh bread, produce, great dinners, whatever they need. Stop in there after work, pick up what they need for supper. I mean, it could really be a dynamic place, and it could change Port Royal from a bedroom community to, again, a place where people want to come to. So what we're asking is that not only that you approve it, give us the support that we need to move forward, but that you commit financially and your time and effort, because this is a massive undertaking. This is not an easy project, but I think it can be done. The idea of the town center was originally nominated by Tim Ball, and we all had some different ideas, but we settled on that. And it's an opportunity that won't come again. Please support this, but it's got to be a full-out commitment, okay? Every aspect, every committee in Port Royal will have to be a part of this, because we're not architects, we're not sewer designers, we're not, we're just trying to jumpstart.
Well-dedicated citizens is what you are.
We're trying to do a good thing here, and so anyway, we would like to have the opportunity to expand behind the Piggly Wiggly as one of the options, but we also want to look at the property where the apartments are and the empty lot there on Edinburgh and Rebo. As far as crosswalks to get back and forth, again, Tim Ball, he's been the superstar on this so far, has found a design where they actually built a crosswalk, but the entrance and exits are parallel with the road, so it doesn't extend into the people's properties on either side, okay? And the one that Tim has the example of is much bigger than what we require, so it can be done without infringing on other people's property, so we could have access across Rebo safely for everybody. I appreciate your time. I hope you'll support it, and hope we can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you,
Any
Randy.
questions?
Any questions?
Nope, great job so
Good.
far.
Thanks so much. Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate you coming
Thank
back
you.
to us right away with a recommendation. So the question is, obviously supporting the town center. I don't think that's really an action that we need to take. We certainly do. That's exactly what we asked them to do. Looking at that property as part of the town center, if they decide to look at that shopping center, is the action I think we need to take, because that would be outside the scope of what we originally did. So what's the pleasure of council?
And this expansion borders Port Royal Landing, right? Because there's not a parcel that separates where this terminates in Port Royal Landing.
Right, that's Shipwright Circle right there.
And so it borders the back of that
There's a
property
pretty
line.
substantial easement
Yeah.
between those two.
Mhm.
There's some utility stuff in that easement and
But
building and everything.
let's go back to when we initially talked to you, we said from Rebolt Road to the bridge. Why isn't that included? Because we never defined Johnny Morale's Circle, is that on the other side? It still is between Rebolt and, Burger King and the bridge.
We did define it as properties touching Rebo Road.
Right.
Oh, you said
This property,
touching.
yeah, this
Yeah.
property
Touching.
doesn't touch
Right.
Rebo Road.
So that's the caveat,
That's the
touching
caveat.
Rebo,
And
okay.
so what they're saying, and I agree with them, is this is a major redevelopment property, and they've got a green space property behind that, and if you incorporate those two, Rand, you incorporate these two, you get enough property to make a very viable town center
Sure.
area,
That's the limiting factor for this whole concept.
land, and this gives them that land.
There's only two of them right now that I can see.
Okay, okay.
And that is one of them. It could be nice, but that particular property won't do for Port Royal what the other one would do, but we have to keep all our options open.
Keep everything on the table, and this way, this gives you the authority to look at that property as well.
Yes.
Okay? Pleasure, of council.
Any feedback from any of the residents in that area in regards to this expansion?
Any comments?
What's the traffic, what's the anticipated traffic?
Because no design is done, it's the early phase of looking at it, it's hard to say at this point. Yeah, it's hard to say. It just allows them to look at that along with looking at the property. It's all we're doing is just, it's master plan. which I think is
Who
awesome.
is, that's Maryland Properties, right? Who is that?
I don't know who
They're
it is
local?
anymore. Van's looking right now. Buford.
Have access to Rebo.
Yeah, Johnny Morale and Rebo, yes. So no not anything through Port Royal Landings,
Right.
obviously. Port Royal Landings.
Johnny Morale Circle would be the main access, right?
But
So it
you'd
all comes
almost
up-
think people would come through the town center right there instead of coming out by,
Because the traffic
Riverside.
light. Yeah, they would all
you
use the
go
traffic
right
light.
there. That's where I would think most of the traffic would go back the other way because of that congestion right there at that Parker's, at the Hardee's light. Keep all that traffic going back the other way.
It's just under an LLC at this point is really all we know.
Yeah, it's sold in
That's
December.
the problem with
Owned by
For $8
someone
million.
else.
looking at it here.
Is that the Rotunda Group?
I don't know, it's just, they're, and it might not be, wow, just a registered agents. It might-
Because that's what Rotunda's.
I don't see a problem with them looking at it.
Well, Yep.
I don't either.
No.
I think
Let's-
it's
let's-
good.
Let's give them the authority to take a look.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
We need yeah, we need a motion.
I make a motion that we agree with the redevelopment commission to take a look at adding that property in.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you're doing. Tim, sounds like you're getting a name for yourself, Tim. Keep going. Important dates.
All right, Tuesday, May 17th at 4:30 PM is the redevelopment commission, right here at Town Hall. Saturday, May 21st at 6:30 PM is the second installment of the street music concert series.
Let's stop right there. The first installment of Street Music. And who was there? Who was there?
yeah, it was
I would
good.
say it was a
Yeah.
very successful event.
Yes.
Brooke, once again, you were praised a few times about
Yes.
the way you set up the Soft Shell Crab Festival, these and other aspects, so thank you again. Really, really good event.
Yeah, a
And
lot of
I had a conversation with the Port Royal Historic Foundation, and they had a board meeting, and they may have some surprises at the next one, and they'll be coming to you to talk to you about expanding their offerings during the event.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about it?
With moonshine?
Yeah.
No, no.
No, okay.
I wonder if they got picked up by the camera. It's Tony nodding yes.
Joe and I had some offside conversations there.
So we'll see where that goes, but we look forward to it.
That's great.
Then Wednesday, May 25th at 5 PM is the legislative reception at 913 Port Republic Street.
Right. Very good. Council comments, anything council would like to add?
Communicating with the assisted, I guess the senior or assisted living centers, when we have town events. I ran into a couple of those individuals, one in particular at the Helena House. I saw her at the Taste of Beaufort. And I said, I'll see you tomorrow night at the street dance. And she said, we don't get any information on those things. How do we go about getting them some information at those two centers at least?
Well, maybe we take them a flyer.
Yeah, there's got to be something we can do. Maybe we can just read. Well,
Send them a newsletter or something?
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
let's see if we
that's-
can find a way to get them a newsletter
Or
every
put a
week.
poster on the door.
Okay,
Yeah, that
let's
poster out
consider them because, of course, they were out at the Taste of, the Taste of Beaufort, so I'm sure, and they'll enjoy this.
They'll
They
enjoy
brought
this as well.
buses down to the Soft Shell Crab Festival too.
They brought
Okay.
buses down?
Yeah.
They knew about that one. All right, so let's
Great,
let's make
thank
sure
you.
they get a flyer on the concert series. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
Councilman Phillips, anything, Kevin?
Nope.
Maribeth?
No, sir.
The only thing I'll add, newspaper articles this week on the Sands Beach boat landing. If you read the article, we talked about the fact that the boat landing, there's ownership issues with the boat landing. there was a deadline of July 1. We can all put that aside, not worry about that anymore. We met with the county, we met with Safe Harbor, and there is a solid framework of an agreement in place. We're all working on those legal documents. The boat landing will remain open, the boat landing will remain public, and we've got everything in place to make that occur in that aspect. And the paving is proceeding as we anticipated on the parking lot. If there's nothing else, I'll open it up to public comment. I have one form that was submitted, and Scott Clark, Friends of the Port Royal Cypress Wetlands.
Hello, Mayor, Council, staff. Scott Clark. I'm here as president of the Friends of Port Royal Cypress Wetlands, and I wanted to tell everybody that the Birthday for the Birds celebration went off. It was a huge success. It was on April 30th. I haven't been to all 9 of them. This was the 9th one, but I'm told that the attendance was by far the most of any other Birthday for the Birds that we've had. We had a huge attendance too. I measure that in 2 ways. One, by the scavenger hunt cards that we handed out. We handed out over 100 scavenger hunt cards, and we ordered 200 cupcakes, and there were only 50 left. So we had a pretty good turnout. Now, that's not to say I saw Kurt eat 3 of them himself, but
I gave him mine. I didn't eat mine. One of them was
okay. Pardon me. So it was a wonderful success. I want to first of all thank Kat Bray, who was one of our board members. She put on that event, and she did tireless work on that, and it showed. The event was fantastic. We had perfect weather. I want to thank Van for doing the presentation for the dedication of Pete Richards. Thank you, Van. I want to thank Brooke and Jeff for all of her coordination efforts with Kat during the leading up to the event, and Jeff for setting everything up and tearing everything down and cleaning it up. It was just wonderful. And I would also like to thank the mayor and Councilman Phillips for showing up. It was a wonderful day. I would like to make one suggestion, kind of piggybacking off of something that Noah brought up, or I guess Van brought up about the sidewalks. Just a suggestion. Patty and I, we go walking all the time, and it seems to happen every time we go walking. Somebody pulls up in the diagonal parking spots, pulls up onto, and sometimes completely crosses the sidewalk. I think because there's no curb stops there, they kind of think that maybe that's where they should be parked. So I would like to make a suggestion to consider putting curb stops in to prevent that from happening, so we can keep our sidewalks open.
The comment I'll give to that is Van told us at the workshop last week that our town engineer is looking at raised curbs along the Paris Avenue as part of the Paris Avenue work.
That's wonderful.
So that is absolutely something we've identified. We'll see where it goes, with
Good.
how much funding we can do and how far we can get.
Good. Okay.
But
Again,
for
thank
that.
you, everybody.
Thank you for everything you guys are doing. Great work.
Yeah, but I apologize, I wasn't there, but my grandson turned 10, and that took precedence this year.
It was a birthday. You were at a birthday
I
celebration.
was at a birthday. I was
I know you were at a
celebrating
birthday
birthday,
celebration.
okay?
Yeah, please come forward. You don't have to stand in the form. Please come forward. It's okay. You don't need
Okay.
to. Are you able? Do you want to do it from your seat? Stay seated.
Yes, ma'am.
Stay seated. Just stay seated. I don't know. Let's see.
Sir, did you want to stay seated? No, I can stand. I
Okay.
just needed a little extra cord.
Okay, go ahead.
I have been a resident of Port Royal for almost too many years to even tell you. But I look around and I only know Mary Beth. And, but I'm sure I'm older than her, but I wasn't here in 1562 when it was founded, or 1874 when it was incorporated. However, I was here probably in somewhere in the 40s. Mary Beth, you don't recognize me? Linda Wilburn.
Yes, ma'am. Live right there on 13th Street, or did.
I apologize, I haven't been well. I have moved several times. We were a military family. I've lived all over the country. I decided to come back to Beaufort. I went to Port Lavelle in 1980. I hardly recognized anything in Beaufort or Royal or anywhere else because things have changed so much. And I'm for change. Some change. I know two gentlemen that have been very kind to me when I have come in with problems, but, and they're not solved yet because one just came up today, so I'm not complaining. I'm not here to just be a complainer. I want to learn more about what's going on. I haven't been well for the last several years, so I want you to know I'm feeling better. So I would like to know what is going on in my town. And one of the problems that I have is I live on 13th Street, 4 houses from Pierce Avenue. That school was there when I moved there. I don't have a problem with the school. I do have a problem with some of the parents of the school. But one of the things that I feel like is I don't see a lot of police presence. I'm not saying that we have people who shoot each other and stuff like that. However, one of the problems I had today, there was one of the neighbors decided to build her landscaping to the road, and she doesn't happen to have a sidewalk. I do have a sidewalk, and when we put our sidewalks in, we pay for them. And we do keep that area clean and raked and as much as we can. But as an example, because she did that, there were cars. One car was coming from this end of the road, crossed over and parked on the road because there's no place on the side of the road to park. Another car, before that one was gone good, another car came in, parked again. At least they were going the right way. But I'm finding I don't really want, if I have a choice, I do not want the sidewalk curbing unless you're going to mark my street off for all the festivals when people come to park. And I'm not being rude, I'm just saying I had some problems with people blocking me in my driveway, but that has been taken care of. I'm very happy about that. But on 12th Street, if you look where there is curbing, people in those houses have built stuff, planted gardens, done all kinds of stuff on the road, on the section between where the curbing is and the sidewalk is. But that's just something, maybe you could have somebody drive around and take a look at the streets in the old part of Port Royal. I know it sounds like it's being petty, but year after year after year, it's not petty anymore. But I did have a couple of questions that I understand, and I hope you don't mind answering them. One of the problems is school traffic. It seems to me that most schools have a lane where people are supposed to pick their children up. I don't have a problem with people, coming down the street, but to pick their kids up. I have a problem when they stop, it's pouring down rain, and they stop at the end of my street, and they won't move to let me out because I made the mistake of turning that way instead of turning the other way. So maybe if the police could, you know, look at some of the day-to-day things that go on in this town. I do not want to see a mini-me Hilton Head. I don't want to turn into Bluffton. I don't have a problem with it being a bedroom community because that's what it was. And that's what it is. And that's not a bad thing. The other question that I had that I didn't understand is I've noticed that a lot of the mobile homes that were in Port Royal have been asked to leave, or they're gone, they don't meet certain ordinances. And I understand that. I don't happen to live in a mobile home, but I have when there was nothing else. So I would like to know why, if they got rid of most of the mobile homes, did they allow some down on the bluff? You know where I'm talking about, Linda?
Right where I live?
Yeah.
16th Street?
Mm-hmm. That I own my property, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but why are they on your property? I don't understand, because there were homes on that property, and of course, I don't go running around looking for places to complain about, so I don't want y'all to get the wrong idea. One of the things that bothers me more than anything else is the town needs to look at the size of lots that they're approving for people to build on. The guy who lives next to me is the best neighbor in the world. He's wonderful, and I wouldn't complain about him for anything. But he doesn't have enough room in his driveway to park his vehicle. He has a truck, it's rather large. It's a regular pickup truck. It's not like it's a dually or anything. But he doesn't have enough room if he parks his truck in his driveway to get out of his truck. So that kind of tells me that this town is just making the lots too small. And you're about to make some houses behind where I live. And I'm just hoping that those will be a little bit bigger. Or not at all. But, the one thing that has always bugged me, and one of the reasons that I didn't come on Wednesday nights to the meetings, is because I don't understand why you're doing it on Wednesday night. Wednesday night is a church night. Most people go to Bible studies on Wednesday night, and they have to make the choice whether to come here and listen to government issues, which is pretty much what it is, and or whether to go and kind of learn how to live with government issues. So I would like an answer to that. Why can't it be another night? And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be somebody that comes and complains every week. This is probably 20 years worth of why is this happening. So I hope you'll forgive me, because I want the town to succeed. There are some things I've, had my brothers on, but I also spent almost 30 years of my life working for the federal government. So I don't want you to think I'm some stupid woman that doesn't understand anything. I am not. And I would like to be a productive citizen in this town. And I think that we need more information out to the public if somebody would look into that. Because I wasn't able to find anything online. I did for a while, and then the gentleman that was putting that stuff on, I believe he's still here. But when you started telling me who to go for, I got out of it. So I'd like to see you do something more informative for everybody. And I would like to, I would like to be a productive citizen. If there's anything that I might be able to do for somebody, I will be glad to. So, thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you. So, just, there is a newsletter, if you're not already getting that, we can certainly, in the town hall, we can help you get a newsletter, there's a newsletter.
Okay.
If you're not already getting that,
I have a computer.
right, so we can help you get the newsletter if you have an email address. As
Comes
far as
out
the
every-
Wednesday night is traditional for Port Royal Council meeting.
But it has been something that we've asked
Wait,
about. I don't care if it's traditional.
Yeah, well, the city of Beaufort meets one night, and, you know, the county meets, and so one
board
meets
meetings.
Monday, one meets Tuesday, we
One
met
meet
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And a lot of us have other meetings on Thursday that we have to go to. And to me, a Friday night is starting of a family weekend. So unfortunately, we do, but it is also on Facebook. They are taping it now, and so you can always come in and play it later if you're on there. Or you can contact any of us, Linda. You've known me ever since you've been at Port Royal. Pick the phone up and call me.
Well, I'll be happy to receive that information. I still have a problem with Tuesday night, but I can. Thank you.
But thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Linda.
We appreciate you coming forward.
Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Agenda is complete. We don't need a second or a vote.